welcome to Coming to New England. My name is Devin Costa, and my guest today is my mother. Thank you for being here today.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for asking me.
What is your full name?
Denise Rodrigues Costa.
When and where were you born?
I was born in Providence at the old Lion Inn Hospital, which is the old version of Women and Infants, September 10th, 1955.
How did your family come to live where you are living today?
My father grew up in Bristol. My mother grew up in Barrington. And when they got married, they lived in what they call the Bristol, the family homestead. It was a 3-tenement house. My parents, your grandparents, were on the first floor, my aunt and uncle on the second, and another aunt and uncle on the third.
Were there any special things about the house that you remember?
Yes, they were identical. It was 3 apartments. They were identical. My cousin, I had 2 cousins on second floor. One was 3 months younger than me, so we just ran up and down the back stairs like it was a one-family house.
Okay. Describe the personality of your family members.
Okay, well, my mother and father. Okay, so father, they're both born in America. My father of Portuguese descent, my mother of Italian. My father very strict, a man of few words. Never hit any of us. He just had to look at us if we knew we did something wrong, and we just never did anything wrong. My mother, your basic Italian grandmother, cooking all the time. And I'm the youngest of 3. I have brothers that are 7 and 11 years older than me. So I guess being the only girl, I was in the baby, daddy's little girl, pretty spoiled, 2 older brothers. That was so much older than me, it wasn't like we hung out together, but like I said, my cousin was upstairs. And so I'd say my oldest brother is, they're both tremendously intelligent. I would say the oldest one's a little bit more sensitive, the middle one's quiet, and as you can tell, I'm the one that does all the talking.
Okay. What kind of games did you play growing up? I know our family is very big into games.
Yeah, and we carry that tradition today. We grew up, I just remember like Scrabble, Jeopardy,
Yep.
Password, and like my best girlfriend across the street, I used to be jealous of her because she had Mousetrap and Operation and those fun games, and we had all the wordy games,
Yeah.
and Monopoly was big, but we grew up, and obviously I passed that along to you.
So I see a lot of that today, and
Yeah.
things never change. What was your favorite toy and why?
Barbie dolls.
Oh.
Barbie dolls. Wanted to be a teacher my whole life. And my mother said when I was like 5 years old, I'd line up all the dolls, including the Barbie dolls, and I was like a teacher in the summer. So went to school during the school year, and in the summer thought I was a teacher to all my Barbie dolls. And
Oh, that's cool. Okay. What was your favorite thing to do for fun? Movies, beach, etc. What kind of things did you like
as
to
a
do?
child, play with the Barbie dolls. As I got older, movies. There was a hometown movie that we could walk to, and a Newport Creamery that we could walk to. So we'd go to the movies. A small town. Bristol's a very small town. The big deal was taking the bus to the city, to Providence. So, we did what we could walking around. There was what we call the common near the house, where there was a baseball diamond and swings and a playground or whatever. But everybody kind of on the street, there was all families. We all grew up together.
What was school like for you as a child?
Great. I didn't take a bus till I was in high school. All the schools, all the elementary schools were like in walking distance from the house. So K through 3, 1 block away. 1 block further down was like 4 and 5. And then a couple of blocks down was 6th grade. And the high school I went to, it was 7th through 12th when I was there, the Bristol High School. It's Mount Hope now, which you graduated from. Yeah. I tell people 40 years to the day that I graduated. You graduated from the exact same school, same building. So that's the first time I took the bus, was when I went to high school, because everything else was in walking distance.
So what do you remember about your high school career or your college career? Anything that stands out?
Yeah. High school, I was pretty quiet. I know that's probably pretty hard to believe, but I was pretty quiet in 7th and 8th grade, little, chubby, quiet girl. And then my best friend from across the street who went to the Catholic school, the day before ninth grade started, she was switching, obviously, 8th grade going to the high school. She said, "Can I walk to the bus stop with you?" I said, "Sure." And she was kind of like, very, I want to get in this sport, I want to get in this club and do all these things. And she kind of dragged me along. And so that's how I got involved in all kinds. I was on the yearbook staff and executive board and all those, you make floats for homecoming and then carried that on into Rick. I came here, lived in the same dorm you're in, and got very involved here. In those days, people stayed on campus because 17, 18 years old, there were dances. There were dances in the dorm. I was vice president of the dorm one year. So I guess I carried those kind of like, being involved in school right through till I got here.
Or do you remember any fads from your youth, popular hairstyles, clothes, etc.?
Clogs. I remember clogs. They're kind of like shoes. They call those shoes something. It's not Dan skins. I don't know. They look like nurses' shoes. I don't know that you would know the name of them, but they're
Crocs?
Like, yeah, there we go. Okay. So they were called clogs, and I remember those bell bottoms. I remember my whole wardrobe when I came off to college was flannel shirts and Levi corduroy pants, and that was, 5 pair, 5 shirts. That was the style then.
Okay. Who were your childhood heroes?
Childhood heroes. I liked Sally Field. She was Gidget, and she was the flying nun. My oldest brother, very close to, and I'd have to say he's one of my heroes. He was like another parent. He was very sensitive. And he was one of my heroes. I thought when he went off to college, I was sad. When he got married, I was literally at 14 years old, like, don't go, So I guess he was a hero. Neither of my parents graduated from high school. But I was very looked up to them. No sports figures or anything like that. Gidget's the one that sticks out to me as far as somebody in TV.
All right. What were your favorite songs, favorite music?
Maggie May, Rod Stewart.
Yeah.
Rod Stewart, I think that was under my picture in the yearbook. Loved Rod Stewart, saw him about 7, 8 times. So loved all that 70s music and the Beatles and obviously Rolling Stones coming into the 70s. Still like rock and roll today.
All right. How were holidays celebrated? I mean, we just had Thanksgiving. Like, how was Thanksgiving celebrated back when you were small?
Thanksgiving was a lot bigger than it was this year for just you and I. It was, Grandma, Grandpa, Uncle Roddy, Uncle Dennis, their wives, their kids, and myself. And a lot of times, obviously, when we were all single, and Grandma would make these big meals, and there was always a pasta to go with the turkey. Easter was ham and pasta, lasagna. Thanksgiving, Christmas was turkey and lasagna. There was always an Italian dish. But then as we got older and my brothers got married, what Grandma would try to do is have the holiday the week before, like have Easter Sunday, Palm Sunday, have Christmas meal, New Year's Day, just so we'd all be together. Obviously, we still had holidays, but so we could all get together because, my brothers were with their wives and their families, and so forth. And unfortunately, Grandpa died very young, so he wasn't part of those.
Okay, so that's pretty much like your special traditions or anything?
I remember, and we did it when you were small too, sitting on Grandma's lap and saying, "I see Christmas trees in your eyes." It's the reflection of the Christmas tree, the light in her eyes. So, we still talk about that now. But I remember sitting on my mother's lap and saying, "Mommy, I see Christmas trees in your eyes."
Okay. What accomplishments are you most proud of?
You.
Okay. What is the one thing you most want people to remember about you?
I think I've been a good friend. I try to make everybody laugh.
Yeah.
I think just being a good mom and a good daughter to Grandma.
Okay. How is the world different today from when it was when you were a child?
there's more cars on the road. And I say in the old days when somebody was, I worried about when you were in high school and you were pretty quiet. And I'd worry because I'd hear all these different things going on in schools. And I said, you know, when there were bullies, when I was in school, they might have thrown a punch or knocked somebody's books down. And now, you know, this day and age, people have knives and guns. And, you know, when I was at Rick, you know, the big deal is we could go down city and have, late breakfast, and it was safe down Kennedy Plaza. Now I wouldn't want you anywhere near Kennedy Plaza late at night. So I think it's a more dangerous world, but you can't live that way. I know Daddy always used to say that. You can't be afraid of everything, but when you become a mom, you worry about everything.
What world events had the most impact on you growing up, and did any of them personally affect your family?
I would say the biggest historical event would have to be when President Kennedy was shot. They say the things you remember the most from when you were a kid, are the bad things. Like I remember the tonsils when I was 4. But this particular day, I was 8 years old. I was in 3rd grade. I literally remember having eraser duty, erasing the boards, chalkboards. And they're saying, okay, everybody has to go home. The president was just shot. And walking home with Alan Mazza, who was the kid I always walked back and forth to school with. And Grandma was home, sitting in the kitchen, literally with her hand in her head, her head in her hand with the towel. And we had a little black and white kitchen TV. And, the Walter Cronkite thing. I can picture that all in black and white like it was taking place live. And then the 3 days of everything on TV and the funeral and the wake and, little John saluting. I was there. I remember all that like it was yesterday because of the fact it was such a bad thing. Now, if somebody said, did you have a great 3rd grade? I couldn't tell you anything else. I could tell you the teacher, but I don't remember anything else from 3rd grade or 2nd grade or 1st grade or 4th grade, because they were just regular days. But when something is that bad, and that's, it's
Right. How would you define the American dream?
Work hard. I was always brought up that as long as you can look yourself in the mirror, so you're a good person. You don't lie. You work hard. You get your dreams. You just don't be sneaky and hopefully. Those are some of the things I taught you. But I think that I'm an old Democrat. I don't know if you can still say that, but I was just brought up that way, that, you just keep, working hard, and good things will come to good people.
Well, it's been a pleasure to interview today, and thank you for being here. This is Devin Costa, and you've been watching Coming to New England.